In this exercise, we will be learning how we define the solution scope. Now, in this process, what I have asked all of you to basically uh, mm, at least put down all the requirement which you think is more important. We have given the hypothetical situation that there is a small bank which has only 20 branches and in 3 cities, and hypothetically they have a 100,000 customer base, and they want to basically provide online banking solution. The earlier one what they provided, it was only in branch, so banking services. Now they want to basically offer online banking solution in order to basically meet the industry needs and also keep up with the competition, right? And also keep their what we call customer base and also increase the business. So we have now 3 participants. Now you consider, when we talk about the solution scope is about high level features and functionality. It's also about high level processes it can have, and then it also talks about the people who are involved and their role, and then the high level database needs, right? So that's your the process diagrams, the high level use cases to describe the high level functionalities and the high level processes. You can create the activity diagrams, and then the data modeling for high level the database requirement. So that is the entity and the entity or the class and the relationship between other classes, right? So this is the 3 factors we need in order to define the solution scope. Now, when I asked you all to basically put down the most important the features and functionality, we will dedicate this session only for that. So this is what information I got it. So Angelique has given me all these requirement, and all of them, let me number them so it will be easier for you to understand. Number, here it is. Now, when you give the requirement, this is what you will see in the industry. Everyone is giving in their different form, right? But what we need to basically do is basically combine them and make a sense out of it, right? So this is what our business analyst role is going to be. Now, the first, if you see here, it is mentioned as a safe and secure transfer when logging, right? So it is logging in, login, and it is type of transfer. So you can basically provide here login is fine. We can just add here login, or and then again when you say it can also have a little bit of a profile management. Okay, so that takes care of your password change and other things, right? The second, so this is taken care of here, and this is also taken care of here. When we mention the profile management, some part is also taken care of. Okay, now here it means says user friendly banking website application. Yes, that is our goal, but that you have to define what do you mean by user friendly. Since it is not defined, so we'll try to basically define the solution in such a way it is more user friendly, right? The next feature everyone has mentioned is basically fund transfer. If I can see here, this is a transfer the fund, right? So let's basically give a little different color, the transfer the fund, and here also it is transfer the fund. So I'm going to basically add this as a fund transfer as well. Okay, so this is your fund. Sorry, my key is not working, just let me bear with me. Fund transfer, so it is you're taken care of, right? Okay, the next basically here it is ability to save the beneficiary details for the regular payment, beneficiary bank details. Okay, do you have here? No. So when it comes to the fund transfer, add beneficiary and manage beneficiary should be part of fund transfer features, right? So let's put it here as a manage beneficiary. Manage, it could be you can add or update, or yeah, update, it means add. Actually it is should be add and update, both the same. Add or delete, actually let's put it as update, manage beneficiary. Okay, so this is basically what we call is a part of your the fund transfer requirement. So I'm just putting it as a side rather than putting it down. Okay, Now next, this part is also taken care of. This is beneficiary is done. I cannot see the beneficiary. Okay. Now second part, when you talk about the notification when the payments are made, transaction history, and transfer confirmation. So these are all same actually. This is one, this is again two. Let me just put some other color, so you will basically, this one, transfer confirmation information and transaction history here. So okay, so what you need is, it should be a part of your fund transfer. What it means is that when you transfer the fund, you should also receive a transfer details. Okay, so this is your part of your fund transfer, so we are not taking it as a the separate. Okay, next you are talking about bank statement. Now this is a bank statement, is basically a different color here. Bank statement, another one here is okay, have you mentioned here bank statement? No. Transfer limit, beneficiary addition, view the account statement, here it is. Okay, so here we can add this as a view and download. Okay, so let's put that as a bank view or download. Okay, so this is, you can basically talk about view and download bank statement. Question? Now it should be basically free flowing, so which I'm trying to do it. Now here what you have mentioned, person can view up to 150 transaction in history. So this is part of your transaction history, so you can either add it as a statement or transaction history. That's okay, so let's put that as a transaction history. Any other place you have transaction history? No. So you can add this one, copy here, and then you can put it aside. So you can have 150, or you can have for last 6 months, or you can have a particular period to period. So this is basically is nothing but you're talking about details of your statement. Statement details. Okay. Next we talk about is basically easy access to bank statement. You're done. Have a secure chat with the user chat when the user has any questions or needs help. Okay, here it is, nobody has mentioned. User can apply for a loan. Now it is a loan application, loan apply. Here anywhere it is mentioned? No. So basically another functionality can be a loan apply. Okay, user can apply for a new bank card via online banking solution and arrange delivery. Okay, this is a bank card, so it is a request you are talking about, debit card request. Here it is request a checkbook or new credit card request. Okay, so you can basically, here you can make as a request, in that you can have basically checkbook, debit card. These are the normal, but credit card has some your rating and all, that is a different process. Maybe you can have, so that can be apply loan or credit card, you can have that here, as because credit card is also a part of one part of the loans, because where they will check your the history of repayment and all. Okay, now any questions you have? Okay, now if you see, more or less we have covered all the top requirement. Here there is one is it's called as open FD. FD is a fixed deposit basically. But since you are only one who has asked for, so I'm not basically writing about it. So this is what I've tried to do is basically apply loan you have mentioned. So I'm going to here little bit of give little blue color here. It's too bright. Let's This is your blue color. You have mentioned here apply loan. Okay, so also new credit card goes under this one. Request checkbook you mentioned, so we can put them checkbook into some different criteria, and here also debit card. Okay, so this is what we have basically added here. So login, you are basically you said checkbook and debit card is here. Apply loan is basically a slightly blue color here. Okay, and then you have is a view download statement, is about notification when payments are made. Transfer confirmation. Okay, transaction history is nothing but a little bit of a gray. Okay, now fund transfer, which is bright orange. You are like bright colors. Okay, so if you see, I have taken care of all your basically requirement here. Actually this is a green color, not the statement is supposed to be green. I don't know which color I used last. Okay, so this is where I'm mentioning here statement and statement. So if you see, all the basically your requirements are basically combined together. Fixed deposit is a very important, but since others have not mentioned, so I'm just keeping it as a separate. So if you have to take only 4 features, then you can take 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't need to take remaining one, because that has basically has gone into this, as a last priority, because I asked you all to list your requirement as per the priority. So you can basically add this part only when you have a resources, and also you have some timeline, additional timeline. Okay, thank you. Any question? So now consider these requirement. Now we had to justify our what we call investment. Can you tell me, with this kind of a requirement, how much the solution should cost at the high level? Cost of the solution. You can also cite operating cost, both. Okay, what is a if you want to build, what is your understanding, how much you think we should pay for building such a solution? These are the basically fundamental requirements you have. This I'm writing here because you need to justify them. Okay, yeah, tell me what could be the cost. Can we say $1 million? Okay, and no, 4 to 5 work is, you're very optimistic. I would say at least more than 1 year. Okay, that would be great. But now you go to sponsorer and you ask for $1 million for, and then you want to implement, then he will say, justify me, why should I pay you $1 million? What is the worth of the project? How will you basically calculate? How you will tell the sponsor that this particular solution is beneficial for the organization? Now you have to basically list the benefits, right? Benefits. Now under the benefits there are tangible and intangible. Yes, you have to calculate. You can't just show them, you have to calculate why and how you can justify the investment. So when you tangible means that you can calculate, intangible you cannot. Yes, those increased number of customer, what we call customer satisfaction, brand value, like for example, it is brand value, increased customer satisfaction. Okay, you may also want to write down the additional employee morale, right? Why do you say employee morale? The reason is employee morale increase, they don't have to do the repeated work, right? Okay, so this is what I mentioned. Now let's talk about the tangible you need to calculate, and how will you say that this is profitable. Like for example, login and profit management, there is not profile management, there is, we say okay, we don't have any benefits out of that. Let's talk about the fund transfer. Okay, so if you want to calculate the fund transfer, now since you have how many, now here it is, the customer base is here 100,000. Let's talk about the 100,000 customers, right? So if you say fund transfer, how will you justify that? How many people you think can opt for online the fund transfer? See, all of them may not even go at one go, but there may be a good chance of percentage of the people may go. But remember, once they go for, once they opt for online transfer, they may go for, not one, but maybe at least 10 to 12 transfers in a year, not one. Question, right? So, what do you want to charge anything to your customers for the transfer? Because every bank is charging, right? So if you consider this 20%, yeah, so you can let me know what you think is appropriate amount of what we call money we should charge. So you have mentioned here 20% customers can go online. Let me take your number. 20% means 20,000 customers, right? So here it is your 20,000 customers, okay, and transferring on average 1,000 rupees. Okay, consider this is 1,000 rupees. Okay, yeah, let's do that. And then they charge, at least they do 10 transfers in a year. Okay, so 20,000 customer transferring 1,000 amount for 10 times. So how much you intend to charge? 1 rupee, 2 rupees. Now SBI charges 1.5 is a minimum charges. So if you want to make one charges for 1.5 rupees, so this is like 20,000 customer, that is 20% of customers doing at least 1,000 average, 1,000 rupees as a transfer amount. And then it is at least they will do 10 times transfer for 1 year, right, in a 1 year, and this is what 1.5 is the charges. I don't know whether it is 1% is too much, but here it is 1.5 rupees I have written, because again it will be, this is 1% is this much if you want to do that. So this is your basically the amount what you will be earning from the fund transfer. Is it good enough? Now let's go to the second one. Second one is very important, is basically statement, bank statement. On an average, a bank is legally obliged to send the statement to every customers every month. So what is the cost of the each statement? Let's consider now the cost of the statement. What is the cost of the statement? How many people? Now here you have to do it 100%, right? So that is your 100,000 customers, and you have to give 12 statements, correct? So how many times will you 12 statements? So what is the cost of basically printing and couriering them, or maybe sending it out? At least 10 rupees, right? In the rupees it is 10. If it is in dollars, maybe it could be around I would say 7 cents or maybe 10 cents. Okay, so this could be your value. Let me basically enter. So here it is, all the customers I've got 100%. Okay, but electronically only when they opt for electronically, right? Right now we are not sending it because we are now launching the online banking solution. That's the assumption. So here, and on once you launch, then customers start looking at them, then only you can basically consider. Okay, then only you can say It is important, right? Now I'm basically talking to you is 100% customers, we need to give them the monthly statement, that is 12 months, and each statement cost 10 rupees. Okay, so this is your basically yearly cost. But what is the saving here? How many the saving here, how many people you think will go for what we call the opt for online statement? 10%, 20%, 30%, how many you think would like to receive the statement in their email? 30%. Okay, that's not bad. So saving we can consider as a 30% opting for on the what we call email. Okay, this is the one. Now here it is, I would say 30% means 3000, sorry 30,000 multiply by now 12 means then yearly, and then multiply by 10 rupees. So this is your saving per annum. Is this in the cent? We will convert that into USD at later on. This is all in the Indian rupees. Okay. So here it is the, I'm going to write here cost in Indian rupees, that is INR. Okay. So now you have item 1, then you have saving is item 2. So actually bank statement, and here is a saving. Okay. Now can you take the third point? Here it is. Third is your apply loan or credit card. Now apply loan we'll consider as apply loan. You know, there's a lot of people call you up, especially in India, and ask you, oh, take the loan from us, take the loan from us. Do you know why? If you keep the money in the bank, you know, so how much you earn exactly, there's a lot of interest is there. So when you invest in bank, you get about maximum 4 to 5% of interest. But when you take a loan from bank, how much you pay? At least 8 to 14% actually. That is in India I'm talking about interest. So if you see what is the average earning, okay, I understand in South Africa also similar way. Average earning, if it could be anywhere around 4%, 4% interest. So what happened when you create a fixed deposit or you keep your money in the saving account, you are not going to withdraw all of them in one day. So that is the basically assumption, and based on that how the bank operates. So when the bank give you loan, they earn that 4% extra interest by doing nothing. So they expect you to take the loan and keep paying them the interest, right? So what do you think is percentage of people will opt for loan, in case if you want to consider? What is the percentage of people will opt for loan? 50%. That's a good number in South Africa. Indians are very conservative. They don't go for much of a loan. I don't know about the youngsters, but yeah. What is your question? Loans are huge. Okay. How about others? Let's basically talk about that also. How many people will opt for a loan? I know it is very difficult question to answer probably, but at least we can consider 10% or maybe 50, 20% people. Okay, 10% is good. So you consider 10% people apply for loan online. Okay, so we will consider that people may like 15% apply, but 10% get the loan because some of them get a rejection also. Okay, yes, some of them get rejected, so we'll consider that 10% is on an average. When they opt for a loan, usually the loan amount is, average can be 1 lakh rupees or maybe more. So here it is 10,000 people opting for maybe a lakh rupees, that is 100,000. Okay, and average interest you are giving is a 4% per annum. This is a per annum calculation. So this is your earning. Oh, that looks too big actually. 4% is, I think it is 0.04 it's supposed to be. Yeah. So now total earning, if you want to do for the year, this is all year annual, basically total annual earning. It will be this one plus this one saving and plus the fund transfer. Okay, let's do. So this is your earning, and this is in Indian rupees, and if you want to do it in a USD, you can just basically take this one and divide by, I guess 70 is the average now dollar value. So this is what you are earning. So what's the break even you are expecting now if this is earning? So it may have some additional earning also, but I'm just talking about this much. See, think about the reduced footfall. For example, earlier many people would visit the bank for doing their banking, operations. For example, the deposit a cash, fund transfer, or apply the loan, or the update their passbook. So many activities they would basically enter into bank. But with all these things, if you are assuming that there will be reduced footfall, you may want to basically reduce the bank branch sizes or add additional product or services to the existing one in order to basically get more the revenues. Okay, so these are the basically factors. So now what you have done here, this is a earning, so this is annual earning. So if it is for 5 years, this will be this amount multiplied by 5. So this is your earning. So actually break even may be like after third year, right? So even if it is 18 months is a good time, but this may take little longer, and then eventually you start earning money. So if you have invested $1 million, so you are getting the break even will happen second year actually, considering this as your the earning. So it can happen in the second year. So I think 18 months is a good amount, good the guess. And now if you see in the 5 years you are earning 3.2 million, and of course it will increase, and considering that customer base will increase after providing the online banking solution, so the business also will increase. Eventually that percentage also will become higher. Like for example, right now if you are considering 20%, eventually it will grow to 50%, right? Fund transfer. The same thing with the bank statement. The bank statement right now we are considering the 30% people will go online the statement. Probably it could reach to 50% over a period of time. Now you may think about 10% people are going for a loan online, but you may want to basically consider that over a period of time they may do more, right? And it could be also that the fixed income, right? We are asking the customers to create the fixed income. When the people create the fixed income, they usually don't bother to take it out or break it unless it is emergency, but they keep that money with the bank. So the bank can use that money to lend somewhere else and earn that interest. So that way, if you consider that this is a quite a profitable solution, right? And if even if you consider the operating cost as, for example, if you, this is the cost of your solution, where did we write here? Cost of the solution is 1 million for, and then it is done in one, but operating cost is usually 30% of the value of this solution. So you may have to basically consider that as well. So 1 million, and then every year it becomes a $300,000 operating cost. Okay, so that you can add, but that even if you add that much, so I'm going to show you here the cost is basically the 1 million. Oops, there is one more zero less here, and this is your cost of solution. Now it is operating cost per year, it could be 300,000, considering 30%. Okay, now for this, for 5 years, 5 years operating cost could be this multiply by 5. Okay, so that's the basically what you are considering. So when you are talking about the A and this is B, and here you are talking about earning, and or maybe you can write down as earning here. These two factors I've taken for the cost, so that this is your total cost, total cost of the solution. So we have considered both cost of the solution, that is building cost, and then operating cost, right? That is 2.5 million, and in the earning we have showed that for 5 years it is going to be like okay, this is your earning 3.2, but of course eventually this earning will change, that might become more. The reason is the when you say increase in the customers, then you are looking at increase in the revenue, and then proportionally the revenue will increase, which I have not considered that factor, but still if you consider that, then you can add additional maybe 20% of income more, you know, so that help you to basically calculate properly, because the customers may not just stop, because if you are providing a better services, probably more you may add more customers, right, and then add value to that solution. Okay, so here this is basically when we talk about, this is a cost versus benefit analysis. Okay, so here you have to present what is the cost and what are the benefits it's bringing in, and how do you justify the cost of the solution. So you have given all those benefits. Again, these are the tangible intangible benefits, and how it is going to earn basically more. Again, addition, there is also, you may have intangible benefits like a competitive edge, you know, and being again able to do work faster and better and effective, right? So those part again are, we have not considered, but if you consider the overall, then you can basically see that this is a beneficial one. Okay, so this is what we talk about, the cost versus benefit. Again, if you review the template which we have shown, I'll just open that one, just give me 1 second. I'll stop the sharing. Okay, now if you see here the vision and the business case, here we have mentioned the details about our the bank, the history and the why the project is important. So here we have mentioned how the internet phenomena is going to change the industry and how it is moving towards the digital, and this is the background information we provided. And here we are talking about account opening, what is the existing growth, what is the estimated growth. Then we talk about what is the total expenditure, capital expenditure expected to be around, this is what we have mentioned, with the break even in 2 years. Okay, and mission we have mentioned, what is our mission. Okay, so you can go through this book, and we have basically provided some diagrams, that is a context diagram, in order to understand the scope. And then we here mention the problem and opportunity statement about the online banking solution. And here it also includes the growth and the negative impacts on the profit. All that part is already included here. This place it is mentioned what are the expected outcomes are there, the expected outcome in terms of the growth in the technology and customer expectations, and the need to reduce the cost of operation online banking services, and so on. Then we talk about the growth versus expected growth, right? Here it is the existing growth versus expecting. Existing growth means without online banking solution, expected means with online banking solution. So you may say that what is a current operating model, and the growth with that current operating model, and the growth with the future operating model. So this is a graph representation which shows you the actual growth, and this one is showing you the estimated one. So if you see the first year, second year, third year, it is a growth is eventually becoming more, and the gap between this is becoming wider and wider, especially in the last year. If you see, it is very visible here. Okay, close to 4% actually, right? So this is what we talk about it. Now in the proposed solution, these are how we have mentioned here. Phase 1 functionalities like a login functionality, transact functionality, account view or the statement is a functionality. Requesting, customer can request what we call the checkbook, demand draft and stop payment, like that. So that is also a functionality. So this phase 1 has this 3 functionality, phase 2 has 1 functionality. Okay, so this is what is. When we talk about the implementation, then we'll see these are the various types of implementation here. Like this is a project implementation plan. Here it is mentioned the project charter, what date it should be completed. Project plan and the review completion should be the date it is mentioned. Project kickoff should happen sometime in November 1st. Phase 1 should complete by 1st January. That is actually, if you see, it is they given like 3 months, almost not 3 months, actually 2 months. Phase 2 should be completed in again 1st January, another 2 months. Closeout and project completion should be end of March. So if you see here, it is all, it's talking about in 6 month time. Okay, starting from the October 1st. Now here it is a resources it is mentioned, or the stakeholder names, who are the people, what are their responsibilities in the project, and their name and title. Okay, so this is, you're capturing the details. So if you have any queries or anyone who is reading the information, so they can review this. Then we have is a cost of the project. What is the cost of the project here? Basically is a project manager, how many months, one, but how many months, right? So then you can add the cost. Then business analyst, then subject matter expert, then test lead, then testers, tech lead and coders, and total resources. So this is what you can have. Okay, so the number of resources and the quantity and number of months. Then cost of the project is mentioned here. This includes hardware cost, software cost, license software cost, and frequency it is mentioned here, and details, one time, and amount what you need. Okay, so it is mentioned. Now return on investment, it is mentioned without online banking solution, this is what we are getting as a return on investment. If you see here the number, it is 11, it is mentioned, right? But now towards with online banking solution, the numbers we have mentioned, like a number of customer, number of transaction, gross revenue, expenses, gross profit, capital investment for online marketing, dependencies on online banking, profit before tax, then we will have a tax, then profit after tax, then additional depreciation, right? And this we are quantifying first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, like that. Okay. And I think there's one more reserve, the free and cash flow. So this is where you have to basically quantify. It is 14.25 with online banking solution, and here it is 11%. So you are talking about close to 5% growth, extra growth. Okay. An assumption we have mentioned here, the customer base expected to grow 10%, transaction are expected to grow 11%, gross revenue expected to do some, and expenses, all that is mentioned here. Now here it is projected earning without online banking solution. Now here also when you say earning, then again it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the growth is mentioned here. Okay, but now assumptions again same thing provided, and here with online banking it is again provided projected earning. Okay, now I think that is gone somewhere, looks like. Okay, but anyway, return on investment it is mentioned, what, how much you have invested, and per year. For example, first year you have spent the money, there is a negative right now. Second year you got only 0.373. Third year you got 1.43 as a revenue. Fourth year, fifth year, like that. So that is how the revenue is growing. Then in this document will have, again you can write down net present value above the cash flow is 3.77 million. Internal rate of return is 57%. Payback period is 2 years. So this all the data you need to present in your vision document, and then you present it to your sponsor. Based on this presentation, you will basically get the approval. Okay, so vision and scope and the business case document will have two things primarily. Apart from the project background, you must have the scope of the solution, that is high level features, and also you can supplement that with your the high level processes, or you can also supplement with the database or something. So that is one. And the second one, you clearly mention what benefit it is going to bring in and justify the investment. So that is important factor. Then there are approvals mentioned here, name of the person and his title and signature. Sometimes they may not sign, but they can just send you by email and said approved. Okay, so this is basically your vision and scope document.